Hey, I'm not even going there. Yo, what up, what up, what up, man? Welcome back to another segment of Millennials versus the World. I got the whole team with me, man. Jay is already on it. See, y'all don't be seeing what be
On it.
happening before until, you know what I'm saying? But he be on it, man. It's your boy K. Mims. I got Brittany, DJ J Dub, Lewis, Princess. Asia will be here in a few. The only spot you get authenticity and entertainment at the same time. May 20th, DMV. You know how we coming. We at Republic Garden, Silver Springs. Come rock with us, man. We going up. We blowing the roof off. We got an open champagne bar for 2 hours. Come show love. Early bird tickets are live. Oh, there go this year right there. All right, so anyway, how's everybody life before we get started with all said things? How's everybody living? How's everybody?
Everything's great, man. I just came from my son's game. That's why I'm tired. He showed out today too, bro.
Okay. Where does he get
My
that
boy.
from?
I guess if I had to guess, I say he get it from his dad. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. All right. Define showing out. What's
He
the stat
had
line?
3 touchdowns, a pick six, and another pick and 2 extra points.
That's definitely
Golly,
showing out.
yeah, he was showing out.
He got
Yeah,
busy.
definitely don't
Yeah, he
get
was
that from
showing out for sure.
for sure.
This dude.
Yo,
That's
he
how
a
we
hater,
met.
bro.
That's
He's
how
a-
we bonded playing football. I know you lying.
Yeah, okay, you true. That's true. That's true. Hey, and what's the young man's name? Where that situation happened with Ralph, I want to say. Just I believe his name is Ralph.
The
if
young
I don't
boy that got
mistaken.
shot.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name.
I think it is Ralph. Just
I think it is Ralph.
speedy recovery, man. Sending prayers to the family. That's
Absolutely.
OD crazy, man. Not gonna spend a lot of time on that, but I just want to send healing energy, positive energy to him. That's a little. That's a bit much. So we switching it up tonight. Shout out to Louis B, man. So we're gonna do some live video reactions tonight. We got a couple videos we're gonna put on screen. You know how we get it in. If you've been with the team, you know how we do. So we coming with the first one. Here's the first. Here's the first one.
Uh-oh.
Working with a woman who you think is a little too independent. If you ain't got the capacity to handle a man that's still trying to find himself as a human being, don't deal with it. But you do not, and you should not, use that not being within your capacity as a reason to beat up the rest of us. Fellas, if you're not rocking with no woman with no kids, if you're not rocking with a woman who you think is a little too independent or masculine, whatever, cuz you got that right, G. If that's not in your bag, cool. But that does not give you the space and platform or podcast to sit up here talking about all women need to be this. Bro, your preference is not governance for everybody else. So deal with what's in your realm, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got it to do, don't do it. Cool. Clap it up.
Thoughts on people operating with others that they may not have the quote unquote capacity for. That's what I want to hear. I got something I want to say. I'm gonna
Well,
wait.
first of all, they had to tell them to clap, so it couldn't have been that good because he had to tell them clap it up. So clearly, it was what he thought he was saying. It was not what he was saying. Like clearly, but I do see some truth to it. You do have to operate with, people who are within your realm. Like you said, like that may not be your preference, and that's okay. You may have a person that is okay with when this operating in like femininity and operating in all this other stuff. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like I think it's just that it goes back to compatibility. I've been saying it for weeks now. I mean, if you find somebody you're compatible with, I think everything will work out, in my opinion.
It won't work.
I don't. How does your preference have to do with compatibility?
Because how would you choose your preference? Like, what? How would you choose that?
Because
You don't choose your preference based off compatibility.
So you saying if
What do you
somebody has
prefer?
hold on. So if you prefer somebody with kids or that doesn't have kids and she has a child, that means y'all won't be compatible?
No. If you prefer somebody with kids, right?
Yeah.
And that's something you prefer, and y'all are actually meshing on that level, that's gonna match your compatibility because you prefer somebody with kids. If you don't prefer somebody with kids, then how are you gonna sit there and go to the next level if you don't even want kids? You don't want a woman with kids. So how would y'all mesh?
But compatibility to me is more so naturally how much does her pieces fit in your puzzle or vice versa. without
So
like
her
somebody
having
can have.
kids is a piece in your puzzle that doesn't fit.
Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, so this is the thing I don't like. I do believe you got to take care of if you dating a woman that got kids. I do believe you got to be there for her and her children. They're a package deal, right? Wholeheartedly agree.
Absolutely. 100%.
However, she is a person by herself. So to say because she has kids, you all can't be compatible, I don't agree with that portion.
That's a
So
preference.
my question, but has nothing to do with compatibility, though.
I agree.
Now, let's go try to carry it.
Lewis, what that mean?
Hold up.
Going in circles.
No, but I'm saying because to the video, he was saying if you meet a man that's still finding himself and you don't have the capacity for that. My question that I would like to ask you all and know on, like,
I'm not going.
if you don't have the capacity for something to somebody that may be going through something or still finding himself, right? That doesn't mean that person can't be who you need them to be. It's going to take a little more work, right? So what I'm asking is if that is the situation that's happening, somebody, whether it's trauma, whether it's whatever the case may be, I'm not going to get all the way into that. Why do we as people go into situations knowing that we don't have the capacity for said thing, we want a certain result, but we're not willing to put in that work to get it? Because I don't believe people should be whole when you meet them. Personally, I ain't gonna say not be whole. I don't believe people don't have work to do when you meet them.
Right.
So where does that not having the capacity for whatever said person is going through come into play? That is my question.
Okay.
Wouldn't that depend on where you are though? What you're willing to accept or what you have the capacity to deal with at the time? Because I feel like, as we get older, we adjust our expectations of people. And I think that I think it depends on where you are and who that person is based on how much you're willing to, be patient and allow them to grow into who you think that they can become, in the future.
Okay. Anybody else got a thought on the capacity of meeting people that they may not all the way be where you want them to when you meet them? All right. So this is my thing. All right. I'm gonna go a little left. This is what I don't like, and I had this conversation yesterday. So this is my thing. And to Lewis's point, as we mature, we do learn what we want more of, what we can deal with, what we can't deal with, right? But also to that same point, doesn't capacity kind of lie into what we have time for? If I like said person and what my capacity is at the moment when I met somebody, I have the opportunity to change what I'm doing or how I'm moving in order to expand my capacity depending upon what I want. So when we get into these situations, we living in a world, everybody want to be perfect. Everybody wants everybody to have X, Y, and Z, the checkbox knocked off. But in reality, nobody comes to the table like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but our capacity, we can't have the capacity for changing somebody, but we got the capacity to put energy in all the other dumb stuff we do that is self-care or building ourselves up. So where's the balance of how much can somebody have on them in order for you all to deal with them personally? How much can somebody have baggage can they have with them that you're willing to put up with? And if it's whether it's a past situation where you met your spouse or a new situation, how much baggage can they have or not have in order for you to still deal with them?
I mean, I think it's contingent upon the situation, right? So it's kind of like a checks and balances list almost, if you will, because I can't sit here and say like, oh, minimal baggage as in, I don't know, you have a kid, but then like big, huge bag, whatever, however you want to say it is, you have 2 and 3 baby mamas and now I got to deal with that. Like that's not in my scope of capacity. I can't say that, right? Because it's situational. You could have 3 and 4 baby mamas, and yes, that is a whole bunch of baggage, but they could be all cool. We could all get along, and we could all have some sort of, what is it called? Mixed family, whatever it's called, blended family.
Okay, all right.
I can't really judge that. I think it depends on the person and how much you like them. So going back to compatibility, like if I'm compatible and you check off the boxes according to my preferences, then I'm willing to provide the capacity to see where this is going to go. For me, anyway.
All right. Princess, Asia, do y'all got a thought on that? On the capacity component of dating someone, where how much they can bring to the table before it's like, oh no, I can't do that?
I think it just depends on where I am currently, like mentally, where I am in my life. Because I know like where I was a couple years ago and like where I am now. So if I feel like where you are currently in your life is where I was a couple years ago, then you may send me back to where I just came from. So I don't have the capacity to be there with you right now. But if you can, heal, fix whatever you're going through and circle back if I'm available, then that may be an option because we still like to your point earlier, we still may have some compatibility whenever you're in the right space. It just might not be the right time. So it just really depends on where I am.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Princess is saying. I think for me, the biggest thing was like, it depends on what experiences I've had to work through in past relationships and past friendships. If I've already overcome certain things, I'm not going back to that place. I'm just not willing to do it. And I also think when because you have that initial attraction, right? And then you have to do things to figure out if you are compatible. Right. So I think if you figure out that they're still working on some things, because Kenan, you're right. Like, I think we are constantly working on ourselves. But if you're still trying to figure out stuff from 3 years ago that you've been actively working on and you haven't gotten there yet, that's an issue for me. I don't have capacity because you clearly didn't have capacity to put the time and the work and the effort in. You're not about to then dump your baggage on me that you couldn't handle or couldn't work through yourself. You know what I mean? Or with whatever supports and things like that. So I think it's just depending on like how much time and effort that they've put in to working through some of those things, because I don't want it to be like now it's just being dumped on me.
Hey, so question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brittany.
I to that point too, I'm just thinking like in personals, I have friends that actually, to Asia's point, that put in the time and effort, right? But like they were still in relationships where they still had work to be done. They made progress for themselves, but the person that they were with was like, nah, you still have crying spells, you're still depressed, you still got a lot of like self-work to do. So they didn't really recognize their healing journey that they were going on. So, and when it comes to using that example, like he didn't have the capacity to sit there and value where she came from. He didn't really understand that to begin with. She started at rock bottom and now she's sort of in the middle for her, right? But then he's viewing her at rock bottom. I think people got to stop looking at other people as projects, right? Like, I'm not here to build you up. I'm not here to kind of fix you. You kind of have to come into this thing where you are mentally, to Asia and Princess's point, right? That plays a huge role in terms of if I'm in a different headspace. I think it's okay, and a lot of people don't think this, but I think it's okay for you to say like, you still have some self-work to do for you, and we're just not meeting here. So I mean, you're doing a good job, like good for you for building yourself up. Not where I need.
So, question to you three, because you all just said the same thing. What got y'all to the point where it's like, I'm not going back there? Because a lot of people don't reach that point. Because Jay, we was actually talking about that. Remember we was talking about that yesterday or the day before about
we talked about that the other day. The day before.
Yeah. Like what happened that made you all say, like, yeah, no, I don't prefer to go back there. I won't allow myself to go back there. I'm not dealing with said thing. Like Princess, you alluded to somebody's where you were 50 years ago. Asia, you said there's certain things that you won't just go back and be like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you here. What got you all in the space to be like, yeah, I don't care how much capacity I have, I'm not doing that?
Just trauma in certain life experiences. Like once you get to a certain space in life and it can be dark, once you get yourself out of that and you reach a certain level of healing, I'm not allowing anybody to drag me back to that space. And if I feel like you're going to take me there, then I have no capacity for you. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you just really have to be in those spaces to recognize that that's somewhere that you'll never want to go back to.
So how do you maneuver through that? That's great, Princess. But how do you maneuver through that when you really care about somebody? Like if it's a person you really had history with, you care about them. Like how do you maneuver through that?
You got to put you first.
I respect that.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, it's not easy, but you got to put you first and choose you, because your mental health and mental capacity is the most important thing.
Okay. Asia, what about you on the same question?
I think similar to Princess again, like I I think it's trauma, but I also think it's when you're in a situation, right, and you don't think that you can get through it, and then you do what you need to do to get through it. Oh, I'm not going to go back, because now I've seen that I can overcome that, or that I thought I had to deal with that. And now it's like, wait, I don't have to. And I made it through that. Oh, I'm not going back then. I think it's just when you get to the other side of something that you didn't think that you could get through. So I think it's when you reach a different level of resilience, to be honest. And like you kind of tap into that level. It's like, oh, it's not, wait, what? I put up with that? Why would I do that? Like why would I why would I do that again? And I think, like to Jay's question, how you get through it, I really think, and how you maneuver through that. I think sometimes people have this thing where they think just because you have history with somebody that can sustain you for the future, and that's not true. It just got you from past to present. It doesn't have to get you to present to future. You know what I mean? I think some people, they're just afraid of letting go and starting over because you're so used to something, or because you do have that history. But I think it's about, just taking that brave step, to be honest, and kind of going into the unknown a little bit, but still having your support systems put in place outside of that person. So it's kind of like, what life were you building for yourself? What were you working on for yourself outside of you being with somebody else? Because if you're so codependent on that person, then it's going to feel like a loss.
For sure.
Then rather than a life experience, you know what I mean?
No doubt. And I think my toxic trait around that is like, and this probably ain't right, but this is really how I am. If I didn't go through something and you were around in some capacity, like not necessarily right beside me, but like we didn't have any contact, it's hard for me to share that next version of me with you, because I think it's too much explaining about how I got there. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times the people that even if I was going through something and I wasn't sharing it all with you, but we were still talking, and I feel like everybody close to me or close to someone can tell when they're going through something. You don't always got to ask. It's like it's easier at the end of the road to be more open or transparent with that person because I felt like they were there. I feel like people that come in like spotty, it's too hard to explain. If I got to explain to you who I was the last time we talked and who I am now versus us just getting to know each other and us being genuine, I'm probably not going to talk to you like that no more. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Because I also realized outside of y'all, like there's not a lot of people as adults I became cool with. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the people share these experiences with me. Like even with my wife, like I think there was a lot of moments in our marriage where if we weren't still close when I was transitioning between moments, I don't think we would have made it through those things. You know what I'm saying? And like true transparency, there was one time where I Jedi mind tricked myself into thinking I couldn't trust my wife with my feelings because I was that deep in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was that deep in my whole like, nah, but like I would tell myself like, nah, bro, I can't tell her like, nah, I ain't saying nothing. Why? I don't know. But I had to come to the realization. It was just I was going through so much that like I felt like anything I told somebody, that level of vulnerability could be weaponized against me later. Even though she's never done that, I felt like that because of what I was going through. It was that powerful to me. So I'm like, oh, I can't trust nobody. And it was small, but I said that to say like being connected with people while you're learning those things allowed me to, like Asia said, from past to present to future. If you jump in or if you came in afterwards, I'm cool because you don't know what happened before. Does that stuff make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody else on that one before we wrap to the next video?
No, man, I appreciate your vulnerability though on that.
Oh, for
Seriously.
sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure. All right,
I have
so
a
we
question.
got. What's happening?
Is someone have like their TV on in the background, or is it just me that's hearing the background noise?
No, I hear it too. I wasn't gonna say that, but I hear it too.
I turn mine off. So
Okay.
Yeah, I got the game on, but mine is off completely. So
I don't have
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I don't know.
Mute again, Lewis. Oh, it's
I
Lewis.
think
It's
King.
Lewis.
Yeah.
It's
All
King.
All right.
Lewis is not
This
here.
is Houston, right? We in a bar. Yo, women be trying shit, right? We in a bar. This is Houston, right? We in a bar. We done ate good. We had drinks. I didn't pay for everybody's tab. We got a bottle in the car. She goes to the car. She took a nap. We got a bottle, like she drinking it too. Like she come back in the club, she come back in the lounge, and she come and then order a drink.
What?
The drink is like $22, right? I already paid for like a $300-400 tab. We got drink in the car. She come in and just order a drink and drink half of the motherfucker and say, hey, here's the bill. I looked at her and said, yeah, I said, why don't you just pay it? Oh, because I don't got no money on me. I said, so why the fuck did you order it? And for one, why the fuck you ain't ask could you get a drink? Like, stop trying me. Stop trying me. You know what I did? I walked away. Stop playing with me, shawty. You gonna feel embarrassed. It's cause like, what the fuck? Stop trying me. I'm not your fucking wallet. Women do that. Women are afraid to spend their money. Women would have money. Women would just spend your bread. Like, hell nah. I left her ass sitting right there at the bar. The drink, it came up to $22. She only had $21 in her pocket. I was like, bro, I got my card. I said, yo, listen, don't be trying me like that. I just paid for your meal. I just paid for your drinks. And you got a bottle in the car. You could have just, if you wanted a sip of a liquor, you could have sipped it in the car. Don't be doing that. The fuck, I already made up my mind. I'm done spending money. I didn't pay for that meal. I didn't bought other women drinks at the bar. I didn't pay for another woman's drink. I'm $1,000 in the hole right now at this lounge. Listen, I already told my pocket I'm not even spending no more money. So here you come, ordering shit for no reason. Don't even drink it. Let's stop playing, man. Y'all girls be tripping. Y'all girls be trying.
Hell yeah.
Trying.
Hey, I'm not gonna hold you. I don't blame him at all, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't blame him at all. He ain't saying nothing wrong to me.
The only thing I'll say, he generalized when he said women. So he was just generalizing it, but I was with him on everything else.
Yeah.
A few women hurt him. That's the first one.
I think
I'll go back to this.
A few women.
What? No, what I'm saying like you could tell this happened to him multiple times is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the part. He was very high energy on that one. It didn't just happen that one time. And I agree with him to a point once again.
Yeah.
Because we've had this conversation before. It's like you're mad at Shorty because you bought drinks for other women, because this was a part of his point. You bought drinks for other women. You decided to pay for other people's stuff. And then, because my thing is, if you don't set limits in the beginning, we had this conversation, then why would she not expect you to pay for it? If you've been going for and you just throwing money everywhere like you got it, you should have set that limit way before. Because now in her mind, she's like, okay, cool, he's gonna pay for everything because you're not just paying for her. You decided to drop. He said he was in the hole $1,000. Why did you spend that much money, bro? Like, don't just be mad at her, but be mad at, number one, the expectation that you put forth. We've had this conversation before. You should not have spent $1,000. You should have capped it. And then don't be mad when she's now like, oh, he's still gonna pay for me.
That's
and
wrong.
This also
I get his
random
point, but
woman, right?
But
This
AJ,
was
didn't he
they
say
had
in the
liquor
video
in
that he paid for
car.
her and her friends?
No,
Put that
so
out there. Maybe I heard
towards
that
the
wrong. It wasn't
towards
for her
the
and her
end.
friends?
So towards the end, he was saying like women. So in my mind, it could have been her friends, but he said women. He said other women. He didn't specify her friends.
Okay. I thought he did at the beginning, but I think towards the end, you're right though. He did say that towards the end.
Yeah, that's
why.
why
I
for
thought
me,
at the
I'm like,
beginning
you
he
should have
said like
capped
I
it,
was
bro.
paying for.
He can't. That's what closing up the tab. That's what closing the tab is. It's the cap. That means I'm done spending money.
He shouldn't have been $1,000 in the hole.
Had a bottle.
No, I think that's unfair.
That's a fact. No, I agree with AJ.
No, I don't agree.
There's no way
he can spend whatever amount of money. He can spend whatever amount of money he wants. If he closes the tab, it's done.
He got mad not only that that had the $22 drink, but at the fact that he spent he said that he was already $1,000 in the hole.
He wasn't mad about that. He felt
yes, he was. That was a point that he made.
He felt disrespected because he had already spent this amount of money. He closed the tab and then she was greedy and went back and got more. If she would have got the same drink when the tab was open, it wouldn't have been a problem. It's the fact that he already spent all this money to ensure a bunch of people had a good time. And then she took advantage of him, of that kindness, and went back and got another drink that she could not afford to pay for.
No, she
But
went to the car first
I
and got a drink, and then
understand
she
that,
came
but
back.
still, he shouldn't have been that far in the hole.
But I don't think
How is it his fault? If he chose to do that, how is it his fault?
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's all his fault. What I'm saying is I don't think he can just blame her. That's the point that I'm making.
She ordered the
He has to take. After he spent mad money on her, he didn't ask her if she had her wallet when it was on
It's
their
his
way.
money. It's his money. I can spend if I want to spend $1,000 and I say I'm stopping at 1,001.
Okay,
That's my prerogative.
Then he should have known.
And they
that
had
she
a
didn't have
bottle in
her
the car
wallet.
too.
Then he should have known what.
That's why he was
That she
inviting
didn't
her
have her
out. And they had
wallet.
That ain't
he
got nothing
already
to
knew.
do with
That's
me.
why he was
You
offering.
going to
He
order
was
a drink?
offering the drinks. He knew she ain't had a wallet.
Man,
And
look.
he's also saying like, be courteous. I got a bottle in the car too.
One at a time,
You go
y'all,
to the
so everybody
car.
can hear.
I'm
Go ahead,
passing.
Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
To the car.
Then Lewis, and then
He said,
back to
"Listen,
Asia.
I don't mind." He's like, "I get what y'all saying." He's saying, "I don't mind spending the money. I get that." Then on top of that, when I close the tab, we have a bottle in the car. You want to go drink? Go ahead and drink. She goes to the car, has a couple of drinks, then comes back in and says, "Hey, I want to order another drink." So at this point, I think that's what Lewis is saying. Like, what is your thought process between I just spent this much money? Like you said, it was by choice, but now at this point, by you ordering an extra drink, what's the point of that?
I agree to a point. That's how I started this. I'm not saying that,
Sure.
and I'm serious. That's how I started because I think Shorty's tripping,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he set that expectation that he was going to pay for everything. So for me, he shouldn't have been that deep in the hole. He should tell Shorty, okay, once the tab is closed, that's it. But also, she had the expectation from him.
So I agree with parts of what all y'all said. So Lewis, I get what you're saying. Like, can't nobody control my pocket. But if there was a tab and we was going crazy, I think what proves Asia's point to me is that's not what's understood ain't got to be explained. If we've been splurging and I say like, hey y'all, hey when this tab closed, we done. Then you on your own. That's different from just closing it because
People open up tabs all the time.
Say again.
People reopen tabs all the time.
Oh, okay. So all right. So Prince, what's your opinion? What's your thought on it? I want to be quiet.
You said reopen that thing? Is that what you said? Reopen that thing?
If you want to, I mean, just because you close a tab don't mean you can't reopen it. I think that
I ain't never reopened the tab. I'm just saying.
I think that the expectation was pretty much already set. Like Asia said, like if you've been spending money all night, then in my mind it's like, what's the harm with one more drink, right? Like that's how I feel. However, I do feel like it was inconsiderate for like there to be a bottle in the car and then we drink in the car and you go in there and like the tab is closed and then you want to order another drink. And it also just makes me feel like, who do you have around you? Like who is the girl? Because I feel like if you didn't have her with you all night, you've been spending money all night, you took it back, y'all was drinking in the car, you done let her in the car, you drinking in the car. Now you mad because Shorty gonna order one more drink? Like, just don't talk to her again. But like to be doing all this, it's like it's a bit much for me. But like, if you don't want to talk to her no more because you feel like she handled it wrong, then fine. But like, I just think he was doing a little bit too much.
All right. So we got a couple of comments that I'm gonna get in here. All right, salute to Ian. Ian said he was spending money already. So he has to keep spending money. If you spending money already, you gotta keep spending money.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hold on,
where is that rule written though?
I'm about to lose my mind over here.
Hey,
He doesn't have to.
Nigga said yes immediately. Yes. What?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. You did set the precedence, but I'm like, I think what did you
set the precedence for that you want to have a good time?
Oh,
with the
bro,
person
if you, hey, bro, like this is the part where like, bro, if we in the scene and I'm like, yo, open up a tab, and I'm like, yo, y'all straight. If you don't cut that off, like that's gonna get ran up. Like, come on, bro, straight up, that's gonna get ran up.
The problem wasn't about the tab being ran up. He didn't mind that. He said he spent $1,000. Cool. It was about cutting the tab off, going out to the car, drinking a bottle, then coming back in to proceed to order another drink after the tab was already cut off. That's being inconsiderate.
Did she know the tab?
I don't care how y'all flip it.
Did she know the tab was cut off?
I think she had to,
I
right?
took a drink.
Because
Brittany, she knew something was cut off, but she had to go to the car and drink a drink.
they have to confirm how you're going to pay for it. My thing is this is why I'm getting so passionate. I agree with Princess's point about the people that you choose to bring around with you is you get what you get out of that situation. But it is not my responsibility to teach you class. It ain't my job to teach you class.
That's fact.
So and secondly, I have enough dignity and integrity to know if someone is splurging and spending money, I'm not going to abuse that. And that's abusing my generosity. And I think that's what's frustrating, because you're trying to ensure that other people want to have a good time. And then the person that you came with, that you would assume, which is his fault, would assume know how to conduct themselves in such environment, chose not to do so. Mm-hmm. And because if you already spent $1,000, what's 1,022?
Facts. Okay.
It's the principle of what took place.
I just want to know what the
but today's
conversation
day and
was
age,
between going to the car and going back inside.
Yeah.
I just want to know, because I feel like if it was like a for sure, like, I feel like it should have been we not ordering nothing else. We got this bottle in the car. When we go back in, like, the tab is closed. I feel like that should have been discussed, because if we drink it on the inside, okay, yeah, I may have closed the tab. We come back outside to the car. Yeah, we did whatever. Mm-hmm. But if we return and the vibes are still going, who's to say I won't want another drink in my hand? Like.
Oh, Lewis, what did you? Hey, look.
But Princess, what is y'all? Princess, what is everybody's tolerance? Yeah, huh? But Princess, what is somebody's tolerance to where $1,000 can't get them where they got to get to?
Jay,
versus a bottle in the car and coming back.
He didn't drink up the $1,000. That one girl, he was spending money on other people, so he might have been buying rounds of shots.
Let's say she did $875. Let's just say she did $875.
I'm just joking. Hey, all right, so we got another one to that point. Appreciate you, Julius, for checking in, man. He said it's not that he spent $1,000 and paid for everybody's drink. It was the fact that old girl gave him the bill and told him to pay for it. I believe that hurt his pride. He corrected himself later. He said that hurt his pride. So this is the thing that I'm gonna say this. I think there is an expectation set. I think nobody disagreed on that. When you come in, hey, everybody here is on my tab. The only thing, and this is the good thing about videos, right? We ain't got the whole story. Was there some communication between the walk in the car and the walk back? Like, if you bluntly just ignored the fact that, because again, I'm gonna be real. There have been times where I know, like, okay, I don't even want to see this tab because I know what I put out there. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if the vibe was how it seemed, people are going to feel like whoever you're with is going to feel like, oh, run it up. Now, Lewis, should people be considerate? I think that all comes down to who you put on your tab. Because literally yesterday, I was at a shoot, chilling, woo, was walking down, started talking to strangers. I've just got a debate spirit. And we got into, like, I'm on the way to lunch. What? It's all good. It's a long story.
Nigga said I got a debate spirit.
A debate spirit.
So we walking, talking, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking to my car, woo, and it comes into like, yeah, I'm on the way to brunch, da. And this person is not a stranger. This is before the strangers come. And we start talking about how she's on the way to a date where, like, yeah, he hasn't held my attention long enough, but I'm still go get this food and drinks and apply a little pressure. Now, I'm not gonna get into the pettiness of do women date for food and all that. But all I'm saying is the expectation of, like, if certain environments, who's holding that tab, there's an expectation of who's going to spend that money. So if that was her boyfriend, her husband, her friends, like, you're not going to treat that person the same that you're going to treat somebody like, oh, this dummy got a tab open, let's run it up. It's not the same. In that environment, you may have found some girls you was cool with. So, Lewis, let me ask you this. You telling me, Earth 98, we in the scene. And we like, hey, man, they cool. Y'all come on. We open up a tab. We don't know them from a can of paint. Do you expect them to be considerate of our tab?
Yep.
There's no way, bro.
I don't operate that way. I don't operate that way. I'm sorry. And, maybe it's my own bias.
You may not operate that way, Lewis, and I agree with that, but that may be biased. Like,
so you guys would you ladies on this call, would you guys go in and order a drink that
Earth
you
98.
cannot afford? No, to Earth 1. Who knows? Would you go order a drink that you cannot afford?
No. No. I always make sure I can afford it. Just because I don't know, do his car going to decline? But that's just me. I'm not depending on him. But if he's offering, I'm not gonna pay for it. If you've been paying for it, then you're gonna pay for it.
In that scenario,
But I have it for me though.
In that scenario, what number drink do you stop at?
It depends on how much we've been going.
Okay.
Like sometimes I'll go out with people, you know, it's like okay, like 2 drinks, you know, but it depends on what the mood is. Like if we just out all night long, then we might do more than 2 drinks. It might be 2 drinks and a shot. Like I don't know. It just depends.
Oh, okay. All right. Asia, I mean that same scenario.
I'm not opening up a tab at podcast party. I'm gonna go and tell y'all that now.
Hey Jay, run it up, bro. Run it up.
Okay. I'm good. I'm closing it out. One beer. I'm closing it out.
I mean, you in a different hotel every call, like you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my! See, for instance, that's the problem.
That's
the problem right
there.
there.
Send me the card information.
That man had it, and that didn't mean that he didn't want to spend it. It was the fact of she knew he had it, and then I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Maybe it was just me. I really want to hear the beginning of the video because I could have sworn he said her and her homegirls. Like I thought that's what he said, so it was kind of like they came together and he was taking care of all of them. Not like he was just buying but then like Asia said towards the end, he was saying like I was buying girls drinks. So I'm like, did it transition to him like buying women drinks in the club or like, because she ain't really at fault for that. When it comes to that, if you want to be generous and then like go splurge and do all that, I think what Lewis is saying is like, you can't expect people to have the same type of common courtesy as you have. Like if they see you, some people really out here, Lewis, like they see you got it, they're like, oh, shit, we on his tab, we good. Mm-hmm. They don't care about that.
I just don't
That's just how you think. I agree with you though.
I think it's levels to it, bro. I feel like if okay, so like example, I feel like if that's like if I'm out with y'all, it's like, oh, bro, this round, that round, this round, that round, this round, that round. If I'm out with somebody that I don't really hang out like that, I'm gonna have my own little tab. I'm not gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this environment. This is me assuming. I feel like this environment was more so we having fun. They on it. Y'all come over. I don't mind paying it. Now the other side of that might not have been yielding to what he wanted to. So now he mad at her. So all I'm saying is, bro, we've all been out enough to know that is the expectation when you open up tabs. I'm not even gonna say swiping your card. If you open up tabs and you with a girl and her friends and this is the thing. So you seen them spend 1,000. What do you think she feel about the 22?
That's nothing.
He felt like he had it
under the bridge.
Nothing crumbs.
So like we can't ignore that. I feel like we like I do get what Lewis is saying. Like you can't spend my money, but if I done spent $600 of your money, you ain't told me to stop. I'm going to 622.
Exactly. Yeah. Back to that question earlier. Like, should he continue paying? Yeah. That you just proved my point.
Yo, Lewis, what's ignorant about it,
hey, 622, Brittany, that ain't nothing. She's like, I mean, he paid the same. So,
so how do you handle that,
that man pockets?
How would you handle that?
I'm not talking about it no more, man.
He got up out of there.
I don't see how that's justifiable, man. I can't see it.
Lewis ain't gonna offer us no drink.
Nothing, girl.
Hey, I'm gonna get y'all one drink a piece, and you gonna know. I'm gonna
close that tab out, and it's gonna say that's it.
Lewis gonna say, just so we're clear, you gotta get one drink.
No ambiguity.
Hey, Lewis, I like that. I like that.
We gonna raffle.
We out here signing.
Who's the
Hey, just know once y'all take that drink, Lewis gonna like, hey, some liquor at the bottom of that ice. Sip all that now.
Hey, he gonna be clocking. I know she didn't drink half that drink.
It's still brown under that ice.
I like the rap. That's good. That's funny.
Nah, but all in all, I think environment yield what type of people you dealing with. Because this is I'm gonna leave it alone. All right. Any more thoughts on old buddy and his drink experience with the ladies? All right. So here go the next one.
Okay.
In this marriage, as long as we, continue this marriage, you have to get us a house. You have to buy us a house.
I will have to buy it?
Mm-hmm. So I could say my husband bought me a house.
So you don't want to have no parts in helping me buy the house?
I mean, I'll be on the deed.
How does that work?
Oh, it works every day in marriages.
You been married before?
In other people's marriages I know about.
Oh.
Their husband bought them a house, a car. I mean, especially if I'm pushing out kids. Those are some good push gifts.
We can, Shaquille, let's save to work towards buying a house together. It was just a, Shaquille, no, you gonna buy me a house.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck on the buying you a house.
Us a house.
You said you. You said buy my wife a house.
Yeah. This is who I am. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. Let's think at home.
Hey, if she doing everything she
No, y'all can't get that part. Y'all can't get that part. Y'all can't get that part. All right. What's y'all thoughts on that? Louis, start us off, man.
Hey,
Start us off, bro.
Hey, you know how when you, hey, Louis, you remember when you be working out in the wintertime and you take your helmet off and you see the steam coming from your helmet?
Man, so I read the comments under that video, and there were so many women agreeing with that. And I think that she has the right to feel that way. And I have a right to disagree. I just think I think today's society, it's really hard for a man to create a certain quality of life that maybe she would want to really just buy her a house and buy her a car, and then she could be a homemaker. I think you go further together. That's the way I look at it. I look at my wife and I going further together than just me doing everything. Could I have bought our home and bought all the cars on my own? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But we wouldn't have the quality of home or cars that we have if it was just me. So, and I'm real, in case you didn't know, I'm real sensitive when it comes to money, and
no, we didn't know that.
No, not at all, bro. We never knew
I'm real
that,
sensitive to it. But here's why. Because I know, regardless, you will never appreciate, just like when you're raising kids, they can never appreciate the work it took for you to get to where you are and to buy and have the things that you have. And I feel like if you are contributing to the home financially, you understand the true value of what it takes to have what you have. So that's rooted in for me. But she has the right to feel that way. I don't agree with her, but she has a right to feel that way.
All right. Anybody else?
It's the expectation. It's just the blatant expectation for me and how it comes across. Like, it's okay to say, oh my gosh, like I really would like for my husband to buy me a home, or I really would like for my husband to buy me a car. But it's the way it comes across was like, my husband needs to do X, Y, and Z. My husband needs to buy me a home. My husband needs to buy me a car. It just comes across as like, girl, you can't do anything for yourself and you want this man to take care of you. That's the way that it comes across, the way she was saying it in the video. I think that's the major issue.
Okay.
Like she's just looking for a caretaker.
I this is not specific. You know what I'm saying? I feel like honestly speaking, no matter how hard a woman is working, they all feel that way at heart. Like they want to be taken care of. I feel like she said it. You feel me? And with cameras and wording and for context, that's Married at First Sight too. So they probably don't have time in like that. But bro, I just feel like every woman feels that way, bro. I always feel like I get that you got to support a woman emotionally, spiritually, and all that stuff. You will unlock another level of your lady when she's financially secure. Among those other things, you can be, because let me put it in this context, you can be fully supporting her mentally, fully supporting her emotionally. But if she got to worry about when she hit that switch, if those lights don't come on and off, you're not going to get the full version of her. No way, no how. So I really feel like we are in times where the one income household looks very different. Like Louis said, the quality of how we will live and be different. But in reality, every woman wants that in some form. Now, would they say you bought me a house. No, she ain't really got no game with it, but like your lady can make you feel like, hey, I want this, and yes, I want it on your tab. Let me not say tab, Louis. I want that on your. let me that come with the expectation that I would pay for it, like, and I want you to pay for it, but like that's what women do. They do want to feel that security from their dude, though. Like that, I don't care how hard she's working. I don't care how much she makes. She still wants to feel a certain level of things that she can say, hey, I want, and then however much time it comes. That's my personal opinion. And I think when you do those things, you get the best version of your lady. I'm sorry. I just believe
I think you can get the best version of your lady, but I also can agree with Louis on that. You also can get to a point to where it's not appreciated though. It's like, yeah, you bought the house, yeah, you bought the cars, but they didn't work for it. So it's like, I didn't really have to put any, footwork in for it. So it's not appreciated as much as it should be. So yeah, you can get a woman to where, like you said, your woman say, I want you to buy the house. Okay, cool. You bought the house, you bought the cars. But in actuality, if she's looking at the expectation like that for you, she's looking at the expectation like that for men in general. So you're not doing anything that any other man can't really do for her. So if y'all are doing it together and y'all bought the house together, it has more significance to me, because it's like, hey, we did this together. We worked, through this together. We, prepared our credit. We did whatever we had to do. So it means more to us. People can walk away from something they didn't put any work into easily.
Okay.
I didn't like that she said she wanted to be on the deed. She knows all about the home buying process apparently, but she don't want to put the work in.
Hey, Louis, you done looked at first time home buyer and everything, right?
Yeah, she looked it all up. But you know what? To Keena's point, and I'm gonna stop talking. But as a man, I want to do those things for my wife, and I do those things for my wife, right? So as a man, I want, and I do. I'm not gonna say I want, I do, and I ensure that the home is taken care of, and that the burden is not on her, because the financial burden truly is on me, right? And I take joy and pride in doing that. But I think it's good it's okay if she wants to have that expectation of me solely doing that, then it's going to come with challenges, because again, I think today's society is really not designed that way. It really isn't. And I have another question I want to ask at the end of this, but I'm a pause. But I'm not going.
Don't forget your question.
I'm not.
Okay. So the thing is that I think dudes mess up on is responding with an expectation of, if I do this, then I need. Like a lot of times we view that as said thing happening, but like, hey, let's say she wants a new car and I can afford the car and I can get her that. Hey, look, this car gotta last you the next 3 or 4 years. Whatever your not rebuttal, but whatever your thing is to make the compromise needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of times, this is gonna sound so bad. I probably should be quiet, but y'all, it's dudes don't bargain their side of things. Like dudes do stuff and don't say anything, but be feeling a way when you don't say it about what she did or didn't do. But then if you tell her, she'll be more than cool with doing it. You know what I'm saying? I fell into that. But like, say you bought the crib, right? And you have something like, hey, okay, that's cool, but I would like to, or I need said thing. If that's what I'm saying earlier, if she's getting all these things that she needs and requires, the level that she will unlock for you is next level. But dudes, we think buying a home is just, I want to buy the home. Like, y'all bought her a house, bro, but you never told her what you needed from that. You know what I'm saying?
Because sometimes when it happens, or not to cut you off, when it happens, it's like, well, what the hell? Ain't nobody tell you to do that. Like, you chose to buy the home. So it's like, if you're coming with an expectation, it's almost like the drink thing. Like, if you're going to buy somebody a drink and be like, yeah, but it's going to come with your number afterwards. It's like, so what the hell you buy a drink for?
No. Do y'all listen, I've been kind of quiet tonight.
Yeah.
Do y'all really feel like women are not deserving of some of these things? I hear a whole lot of like, no, and I'm asking this because a lot of times, right, there's this whole expectation thing, but sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you what I want. Like, I want this. If my car is busted and my wheels are popping off and I need an oil change, and that's automatic for me. I shouldn't have to say, babe, I want a new car. I want to be able to tell my friends my husband bought me a new car. Like, I just kind of feel like if I'm putting in as a wife, then it's all about reciprocity. Like, what are you deserving of, right? Like, she checks off the boxes as a wife, he checks off the boxes as a husband. So together we're building this foundation, for each other without any asks. I'm going to get you what you deserve. And I think that's where homegirl went wrong. When you said married at first sight, that makes a lot of sense. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
But,
I give a little context.
Yeah. If they were in a marriage, in my mind, I'm like, buddy, you didn't know what you was getting into. Like, you should have picked that vibe up from the beginning before you married her, because this is the type of woman that you chose, right? So now she automatically came into this asking all these questions and expectations and what I want. But it's kind of like, when I don't even know how to put this in words, but it's one of those things where it's like, why are we not giving? Does this make sense? Am I making sense? Like, why are we not giving of what is deserved as partners?
Okay,
like,
so Brittany, I'm gonna answer that in a very, 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 very too honest way. The thing is that I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying, especially with time I put in. Certain things you identify and you go for. However, you all, as very smart beings, do also how to understand how, like, you are deserving. But so let me answer your question with a question. If you are deserving of what said thing, right, you're putting in that time. Say I'm putting in the same amount of work that you're putting in for you to be deserving. What am I deserving of after I do said thing?
What?
Like, if you buy her the house, like, what are you deserving?
We're putting the same amount of energy into our marriage, right? I'm holding it down on my end, you're holding it down on your end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are wholeheartedly deserving of what you say you want, and I'm willing to do those things. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is, I think a lot of times men are more than willing to do that without being asked. If they're smart, if they can identify, they can, understand what their woman wants and needs. If she communicates subliminally now and again, we pick up on it. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like a lot of times how we were brought up, and for when most of us started dating, we weren't taught how to put an expectation about ourselves out there, which probably don't got nothing to do with money. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times we give those things, and I don't want to say it's a transaction, because I don't believe in keeping score in marriages or relationships, but like, it goes back to what we talked about. A lot of women are made to be catered to. You feel me? So like, when we're catering, the way that comes back around may not be how he needs it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But that's a matter of, like,
I agree, it's a matter of communication, but that's why I said we weren't taught that.
But not even communication, but like knowing your partner, right? Like, as a woman, you're supposed to be submissive to your husband automatically. So some of these things, it's just that goes back to the reciprocity piece. Like, if you're giving this, there's no doubt in my mind. You said it earlier, Keenan. Like, it takes your marriage to a whole nother level. Your wife should be more than willing to reciprocate that same energy. Now, if it doesn't meet like your needs or your standards, or if it's something that you didn't, then you need to communicate that. But if I'm reciprocating energy and it's just not what you want, then you need to say, okay, thank you, but this is not what I wanted. I think that's two different things.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Who do you think is more willing, a man or a woman, who's more willing to get uncomfortable to satisfy their partner? I keep doing that. My fault, y'all. We got some comments coming up, but I keep clicking on accident. Who do you believe is more willing to get uncomfortable to satisfy their partner?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Us.
We do.
It's a man.
We don't make any decisions. Kina said this last podcast. I don't make any decisions for me. My decisions are for my family. Every decision I make is for them, to give them the freedom to make whatever decisions they want for themselves.
Can I just ask, because I think that answer, Lewis, made me think about what Keenan was saying earlier, just about like men, because it's like, okay, but then at what point are you saying what it is that you need, right? Because then it's like, if you are making decisions, right, for the family and everything like that so that they can make decisions for themselves,
Mhm.
right? What you just said was you're setting them up to
Mhm.
think about what they need for themselves, not for what you would need also. So then it's
Agreed.
kind of like, at what point
Mm.
though is the man then saying, okay, I'm doing this for y'all and this is what I need in return? Because what you just said, Lewis, is I'm thinking of y'all so that y'all can think more of yourselves.
Agreed.
Rather than it being so that y'all, so is it like the appreciation piece? Because both Jay and Lewis, that's the first thing that y'all brought up. But the thing you're like, dang,
Mhm.
she's not appreciating it, or the appreciation piece. So what is it that y'all need though?
We don't know, because to Keena's point, like, and I just got to this point in my marriage and in my life where I'm like, yo, I'm doing all this stuff for y'all, making sure all you guys can go and make mistakes and recover, and I can help you. But I've yet to do something for myself that may inconvenience you guys. So it's a challenge, because I don't know the answer to that, because I'm just now discovering that I have to start doing things for me. So that's like Keenan said, we're not taught that. We're not taught that language to be, I don't want to say selfish, but to prioritize ourselves in the midst of having a family.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm gonna be
Asia.
honest with you.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Jay.
To add to what Lewis. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's on you. Go, bro.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm gonna add to what Lewis was saying, and Asia, that was a great point too, by the way. From my personal experiences, and this may come off harsh, I used to look at it like I was doing those things, like you said, because I know I needed to do those things. But I used to look at the opposite, like I thought it was common sense. Like I thought because I was doing those things and making sure, and I'm just being real as hell when I'm being real.
I feel that.
Like I used to think like, okay, I'm making sure I'm doing all of these things because I want to make sure that it frees up you guys, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But like Brittany said earlier, just like you shouldn't have to tell your husband like, okay, this needs to be done. Okay, I shouldn't have to tell my wife, like at the end of the day, I'm making these sacrifices and strides for you to see that Jay needs this done. But then again, it goes back to the point of like, so how do you make that balance of, because I don't want to come off of like, I'm doing this because I want you to do this in return. No, I'm doing this because I love you and I see that you need this. But shouldn't you have that same energy to see that Jay needs this? So where does that balance lie for me? Because I thought it was common sense.
So that's the Brittany point. That's learning your partner. I give Brittany that. I know she's gonna say that. I got you, Brittany. I got you. But Asia, I'm gonna answer your question. So for me personally, it was this.
She was about to light my ass up.
She was, bro. She was. Hey. So for me, it was this. I had to learn to stop feeling like I was complaining when I had to say what I needed. It had nothing to do with my spouse. It had nothing to do with people around me. I had to stop feeling like when Keena had a need, it was an issue. Reason being, in my experiences of where I've been and what I've been through, I don't like feeling like a burden on people. And it's easy for me to feel like I'm making others. I will go to the end of the world for people that I love and care about. You feel me? But if somebody ever had to do that for me, it's uncomfortable. Like in real true transparency, like even when a lot of great things are happening now and my friends call me and big me up, it's uncomfortable because I've never been that person on the other side to receive like that. And I haven't operated in that space for very long. So for me, it was me saying like, yo, it used to come out very passive aggressively sometimes, not no more. You know, I've grown and learned, but I'll say it and she was like, oh, okay, cool. And she was open to it, but I was having an internal battle about putting my needs out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this. It's like the simple example of like, if you tell somebody, you know, can you kiss me before bed every night? And then they start kissing you at bed and you say, oh, you only doing that because I told you to. It's like, I had to get over to like, if I would say something, stop feeling uncomfortable. And then when she started doing what I said, I had to believe that she was doing it because she genuinely cared for me, not because I told her to do it. Because I really felt like it wasn't nothing she was doing. Real talk. She's always been willing. It's just me like, no, I'm not going to bother with that shit. I'll figure it out. And that's just the type of person I was for a long time, but it wasn't servicing me. And what really exposed that was kids. When we had kids, the capacity went down very, 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 like, it was very like, oh, no, 2 Saturdays from now, call our babysitter. We are going here. We are doing this. I want you to, what you need, because I realized like, oh, damn, with them little jokers around, if you don't say it, it ain't going to get done. Period. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't always about sex and stuff like that, but just in general, like, we got to make time to be there for each other, to be husband and wife. So, Asia, to answer your question, it took a very long time, but there are ways, and I'm not saying you three specifically, where a woman could make a dude that's asking for a lot feel like he's complaining, or feel like, damn, like shit. Now, like, damn, you know what I mean? And I, whether y'all make us feel like that, we already feel like that before we say it. And Lewis and Jake, correct me if I'm wrong.
It takes a lot for us to ask for anything.
It does. It does. But Lewis, you had a question that you wanted to ask earlier.
Yeah, man. So like, I find, so I read the comments for this video, and it was a lot of, Black women commenting, and this is just a thought, and this I hope it's not taking it the wrong way, but Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States.
Uh-oh.
You spend all this money to further yourselves, from an education perspective, but then when it comes to contributing financially, or putting yourself in a position to where you can be independent, but you still want to depend on a man, what was the whole point of educating yourself for? Like, what's the point of that? Like, why are you not trying to get the most out of what you invested in up front? That just doesn't make sense to me.
So just to clarify, your question is,
why did y'all go better yourself? If y'all
why did Black women become the most educated if all we were going to do is want to just be taken care of?
Correct.
And be dependent on a man?
Correct.
Got it.
Lord
She
of
wanted to
mercy.
verify if you mix your ass up.
No, I want
to hear the response.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of times, and we've talked about this a couple of times, especially with Black women and this whole strong, independent Black woman thing, because that is the number one complaint that I've heard from Black men, right? That Black women are too independent. And so I find that with Black women, we don't necessarily need a man, but it's nice when we don't have to be the strong one all the time. It's nice when we don't have to be the one that's taking care of everything, because that has become the societal expectation of Black women in particular, right? So in the same ways that we know that Black women are the most educated, right? Then you've also heard that Black women are also the most unprotected, right? Group of people. So then being able to be put in a position, right, where you can actually be put in space to then nurture, because what we're not talking about is the woman in the video. Her point was, she said, okay, yeah, because you'll buy the house so that I can take care of the kids, right? That was all. She also brought up the fact of what the home is going to be used for. It was, yes, for status so that she can save a thing, but it was also so that if you provide the house, I can take care of your children. She did mention that, and that's one thing that we did not even talk about, right? Okay. So I think it's the point of, we don't necessarily need men, but society's been telling us that we don't need men and all these other things, and we're hearing y'all, and now we're trying to learn. We talked about this, like the softer life and how to be taken care of and how to do all these things and how to nurture the Black man, in particular, or whomever that we're with, and try to be nurturing mothers, right? So we don't necessarily, so we've done it so that if we need to pick up the tab, right? And if it needs to be like, hey, babe, yes, I can do it, but also can we split this? Or, hey, but this is a good home, but if we want the best home, then you might need to go to work too. I can't get that with an associate's degree. My master's degree is going to help us get that perfect house that you talked about earlier, Lewis. You see what I mean?
You got her on spice mode.
So for me, that's my answer.
I appreciate that. I respect that at the same time. But
shots fired. Sit down.
But my
shut up, Jay.
But like, to your point, she said, all right, so I could take care of the kids. If I'm a present father, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I got kids. Mm-hmm. We both take care of kids. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the only thing, right, that you did, and it's not a small thing. I'm not minimizing it in any way.
Don't say push the babies out. Don't say push the babies out.
That's it. I mean, but that's it. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. I'm just being honest with you.
I am definitely clipping that.
Yo, my boy.
I'm being honest with you. I'm with my kids every day. I can say that. I don't care who gets offended. I'm with my kids every day. I pick them up from school. I take them to dance. I take them to practice. I help them with their homework. I do all that. So
I still ain't saying
So
that.
what?
It's
So
not.
what?
It's not. But it's not saying. It's not saying that you are a good or bad father. We
I ain't
talked
saying I'm a
about
good or
this-
bad father.
No,
I'm
no, no,
saying
that's what I'm saying though. Because what I'm saying is, even we talked about this a couple pods ago, right? When a child is first born, okay, the person that they connect with first, the person that has all these other things, is the mother. When the baby needs to get fed, who's feeding the baby? The mother. Why? Because it's coming from her breast. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things that's going on with children, that it's cool if you're spending time and all these different things, but with the mother, and we talked about this a couple pods ago, so I don't have to rehash all the stuff, but there's a whole different level. Especially her point is there is an exchange. So it's not just about work, having the kids and all that kind of stuff set up. It's also about making the home a home at the end of the day too. I just feel like it's still like, it's not like, okay, if you did this, then you can't do this. I don't think that's what she was saying. But I think if everybody has a role that makes the house function in the way that it does, then of course you're going to be involved with your kids. It's not saying that she'll be the only one doing that. But I think it's very interesting to say that the only thing that the woman did was push that baby out. I think that's probably the wildest thing I've heard.
I don't see how that's wrong. I'm just saying on the day-to-day, the differences, to me, it's the same.
No, no.
I said to me, that's my experience.
Well, okay, you're entitled to your opinion. However, I'd have to beg to differ with that. And I have two wonderful, beautiful children, and my husband does great things for them. But our roles are completely different. I don't care how many times he takes them to gymnastics, dance, flips it around twice, dinner, cleans, whatever. Our roles, just as mom and dad, are totally different too. So to say that the only difference is we kind of push them out, it's so let me, do you feel like your wife works, right? And then you go to work, and so you guys share responsibilities of taking care of the child. You feel like it's an equal balance. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm hearing.
I feel like, look, I'm not disagreeing with roles. I'm not disagreeing with roles. When you generalize it and say take care, we both take care of the kids.
Right.
We both put emotion. We both emotionally invest in our children. Yeah, the woman provides a more nurturing side and has qualities and ways to connect with the children that I can't give them. But as a father and as a man, I have my own ways and my own methods and abilities and ways to connect with them as well. You know what I mean? I mean, I just don't, and I'm not trying to be rude and I'm not trying to be dismissive, but to me, when someone says, "Oh, I'm just going to take care of the kids," well, I'm like, okay, well, we're doing a lot of the same things as far as the needs, meeting the needs of the children. The only difference is how we connect with them emotionally. But I'm not saying what you do and how you connect emotionally with your kids is greater than what I do and how I connect with the kids emotionally as well.
I don't even think it's about like connecting with them and the role so much. It's just literally like, I don't want to say dumbing down, but just the fact of like the woman is the one who gives birth. Literally, you cannot give life without a woman. Like, I agree. Just period. So I just feel like, and on top of that, the woman, like you carry the child for 9 months, and then after that, you have to push the baby out, and then your body changes. There's so many other things that comes along with just carrying the child and the birth. And then you get into all the roles and, you guys doing the same thing or not doing the same thing. So I think the birth experience and carrying the child as a whole just says a lot in general.
I agree.
So I would say this. I'm gonna say this. I do understand what you are attempting to get at, my brother. However,
I ain't attempted. I said what I said.
Yeah, but I think the difference is, like, I get it, because you're not saying that all that she did was push him out. You're saying the difference, like that, she'll always have that one up on you, no matter how many things y'all do, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't. That's the one thing I cannot do.
Yes,
right.
And I think it's a taking it out of the personal between you and I, Lewis. It's like no. I am. I think the difference is like the respect I gained for her doing that won't allow me to say that. Mm-hmm. Like when I saw the near death, when I saw what really went on for him to get here, that thing will forever hold that much weight where I can never use that. because even though I'm like you, brother, I'm here every day. I'm here every weekend. It ain't no breaks on the weekends. We thugging it out 24/7. You feel me? But what it took for that difference is why I can't use that difference. I'll give you another example.
How am I using the difference? I'm just telling the truth.
I'm not saying you are, but to say, so let me ask you this. If you could put if so essentially if women didn't birth kids, like there's no difference between moms and dads.
There's a difference, but it's not a difference in what it takes to raise a child.
He's saying in his experience, both of them share the same exact roles. Like they both go to work, they both come home, they both.
I don't disagree with that part.
Yeah, so I'm just saying like I'm not just being dismissive, and I agree. Like what my wife had to endure bearing our children made me love her more, and I have a whole new respect. And I'm not trying to throw that in her face or in any woman's face. I'm saying from the context of the conversation, she said, "Hey, to make the house a home, to take care of the kids," and I'm like, "Hey, well." Time out.
You saying you don't sit there and do nothing? You gonna be doing that too.
Yeah, when we say take care of the kids, we both take care of these kids. Like I don't know what there is no, how they got here is the only difference. But as far as taking care, we both taking care of them. So what do I need you for? I take care of my kids too. I can do that on my own too.
So it's just the taking care of the kids.
Correct.
For you.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so I guess a better way to say is like it would then be her job to get the kids up while you are working, right? Because then there's two different things. So if you're taking care of work, I don't know, or you're going to work and things like that, then that would be the exchange. And so she would then be at home all day. And that part, you would then be with the kids when you get off from work, but she's then been with that baby from sun up to sundown. I'm exaggerating there, but that's why in the context of taking care of the kids, it's essentially that's the exchange. She's with the kids the whole day while you are at work. That would be
I still don't understand.
That's the part that
I just don't believe. I'm gonna say this with millennial women, and I'm gonna say like Lewis, I'm not being dismissive. I don't believe in that stay-at-home mom stuff, bro. And I've said that to y'all before. I don't believe in that. I'm gonna tell you like this. And Jay, you know this about me really well. Certain things, this gonna sound bad, but it's the truth. Certain things dudes got to do for their sanity and not for their partner. Like if you need said thing and I don't care about it that much, I'm gonna do it because it's not about me. It's about you being happy in this area because that's gonna come back to me full circle. So I'm saying that to say, like, the conversation I get, but in reality, like that's not where we are anymore. This whole like I buy a house, you stay at home. It could happen, but that house gonna be a shotgun house. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't live in those times anymore. We don't. That one income, like, and that's the thing. Like, and I also think like this, and I hate to keep going back to this because I said it before. Needs of people have changed. Women just sitting in the house, taking care of kids is not the vibe anymore. That may work for some people. Cool. I don't even want to experience that lifestyle. If my wife stayed at home, I would get a nanny because I don't even want to deal with a burnt out mom all the time. That's not what I believe in. That's not what I would want. If my wife said, "Hey, I want to be with the babies," I'm going to get a nanny too. It may not be the full time, but it's be part of it. She comes 2-3 times a week. Because no, I'm not. I don't believe that we can jump in and out of like responsibilities. Like some of us we'll have to work. You get like it's too many. I already feel like it's too many things that we gotta delegate to each other, or like this your responsibility, this your responsibility. That shit just don't make sense to me in the world we live in. Like I don't.
Well, let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
In that segment, because I don't watch this show. A lot of times, is she asking that because he's in a position where he can do that?
Nah, I think so. You took that how she meant it. She said that how she meant it.
I understand.
There was no.
What I'm saying is like she's saying that because like if your woman know that you can't buy her a house, I don't think she's gonna ask you to buy her a house. If she financially knows that you cannot buy her a house, I don't think that she would act. I mean, I could be wrong because, like you said, I get what y'all are saying. Based off how the economy is set up, I get it's 2-parent household, all this stuff, 2 people working. But if you were put in a financial position to where you could do that, and obviously she may have felt that he could do that, do you think that that's why she acts the way she acts? because you got to think about we getting offended, not really offended, but we're looking at it from a different perspective because yes, we can do that, but it can't. It's gonna be a shack versus.
I think what
yes,
Lewis is saying. I think what Lewis is saying that I can now that he clarified the second time. Lewis is saying you saying me buying a house and you taking care of the kids that don't do nothing for me because I'm here anyway.
Right. I get off work at 5. So what? When I come home, I'm not there with them.
He's saying like he gonna be like that don't make him like, ooh, let me go buy a house.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do? Yeah, like I gotta take care of them too. Like you took care of them for 8 hours, and then what about the other 16? Is that my math right, Keenan? Is that right?
Well, there's sleep for 10 of those.
Okay, so what about the what about the 6? What about the 6?
I didn't. What do you mean?
He's saying they sleep for. I said, what about the 6 though?
What about the 6? I just had this conversation. I just had this conversation, right? This is my transparency, vulnerability moment, right? My husband and I both have jobs. I work from home. I stay at home all day, work from home. I'm able to pick up these kids, take them to dance, and come back home, cook dinner, homework, boom. I have to put them to bed because he doesn't get home until X time, right? Every single night, Monday through Friday. I had a conversation with him on the phone on the way here where it's like, I'm overwhelmed because I work. You're at work, right? I'm at work and I'm in a peaceful environment because there's nobody here. So we're both able to work, but I still have to do what I have to do as a mother, right? Because I'm capable, I'm able to do so. You still have to work because you're a provider. So there's other ways that when he comes in here, if the baby's not bathed, he'll go, Britt, go sit down. You go take a shower. Boom. I got Caden. I'm a bathe him right quick. We're going to do this. He automatically cleans the kitchen every single night. You good. We chop it up before we go to bed. We go to sleep. That's just the way that it works. But I don't. So I said that to get to your point, Lewis, of sometimes, not in all situations, but sometimes the balance is like, when you think about, like you just said, 8 hours, if to this girl's point about like, I stay home, I take care of the kids. If she's with the kids for 8 hours and you're working for those 8 hours, I do believe being a mom, and this is just me, in my opinion, I believe it equates to going to work. Being a mother is a full-time job. So we're both working, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I put the kids down because you got home at whatever and you have those 6 hours left, they're already wind down. They already got homework done, or maybe they didn't get homework done, and your responsibility when you come home is to do the homework or to do the shower. Whatever it is, it just goes into, it fluctuates for me because there is a difference. If my husband walked in here and my kids are bouncing off the wall and he has to calm them down, he's then more tired. Versus if he walks in here and everybody's calm and he just has to read a book. There's a difference. There. So your 6 hours may turn into 2 versus you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
I get what you're saying. To me, it just, because of what I see and what my experience is, I have flexibility. I work at home sometimes, you know what I mean? And like, I do a lot. So it's hard for me to really see, and I haven't experienced where someone solely takes care of the kids, and it's really been me and my wife team. And I enjoy that, right? Because I want my kids to have that presence and those memories of me being around in different capacities. But I just don't see that as being a valid reason, to Keenan's point, I think, or to Jay's point, being a valid reason for me to fully take ownership and do all these things for you when I'm going to have to be a part of taking care of the kids in that capacity anyway, right? Because they're my kids. That's my responsibility. I'm gonna have to be a part of parenting them. That's my responsibility for being their father. So that now absolves you completely of any financial obligation to the home when I have to be involved in parenting.
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what would make a woman deserve that then? If we're saying that, like if the roles are equal and everything like that, so what would make a woman deserve the home? Outside of what you said, Jay, you just thought it was common sense, but like what would make a woman worthy of the car, of the house?
Oh, So
No, go ahead. No.
So to me, Prince,
She asked
is
Louis.
ready, right?
She asked Louis.
No,
Oh,
I'm asking
No,
was you asking him
I'm
directly?
just joking, bro. I'm just
No, I'm
Hey, I hate
asking
y'all.
I never
Hey,
said. I never said she wasn't. I'm just saying the reason that she gave was not justifiable to me.
And I think that's the point that I missed the first time. I get that, but I don't think it's not the deserving part. I think that if he would have asked, I wouldn't do this. But in that scenario, if he, instead of saying like, "Oh, I'll take care of your kids," which I think is very big, if she's willing to, take that on completely, cool. Because the other part that Lewis is not talking about is that there's new age dads want to be dads. We don't want to sit back. We ain't gonna sit in the house and chill, no way. Even if we had a woman that did that, right? So, Princess, it's not about the deserving part. I believe you all deserve that. I think what's really missed a lot in a lot of relationships, marriages, is that people don't explain what do I want or deserve after said thing. If he would have came back and said, well, hey, or asked like, okay, so I will want you to do X, Y, and Z, and he said, well, if I do that, like, how do you feel about taking care of the kids? If it was from him, she made what was justifiable to him from her end. She said, I want a house so I can take care of the kids. If he would have said, she said, I want a house, and he's like, okay, so I want X, Y, and Z. So, okay, cool, we can do that. You know what I mean? The deserving part is not in question. I think after said things happen, men, and it's back to Asia point, there's a lot of times, and this is not y'all fault, that we do want something for doing something, but we don't say it because we feel like it's gonna be like, you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? What I'm saying, Princess?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it's the deserving end. I think in the video it's the fact that she had already said what will be done if the house is bought, not knowing if that's what he needed from her after the house was bought. But y'all are deserving.
I was just about to say, Prince, all of you guys deserve it. I mean,
sure.
I feel like my wife deserves. I mean, she living good now. I'm doing my part. But
okay, flex. Okay, Louis Blee with the flex.
Just saying, you know what I mean? But she living good. But I think I just think, to me, when you say take care of the kids, that's just kind of where my different. I have to be a parent at some point. So to me, that's just, I don't know. Maybe that's a trigger word or something. I don't know, because I got to take care of the kids.
No, she's just traditional. The girl in the video is traditional.
Yeah, but
I don't think.
So what the man do when he get home? Just go in the room, close the door, and he don't talk to the kids at all? Like,
oh, when I talked to my dad about how my grandfather was,
yes,
how the stories were, it was like that.
Yes, I think. I mean, everybody's situation is different, and I think that's what it is. Is like people actually come home and don't give a shit about their kids. Excuse my French, but they don't. They don't pick up responsibilities. They don't do anything. They expect the wife or the woman to do everything. And some women expect the man, if he's a stay-at-home dad, right? If the shoe was on the other foot, that's your responsibility. I'm tired. I worked X amount of hours. I'm going to bed. So I think that is the reality for some folks. So by her saying that is a fair trade, because that's just the reality of people's situations.
Because you can be a single parent in a marriage.
Facts.
Yes.
Okay, Princess.
Absolutely.
Clipping that.
That's good.
And I say to my wife all the time, like when she, like, it's jokingly, but like when she go have her fun, I'm like, hey, now you owe me some child support now. Hey, I was thinking daddy today, you know what I'm saying? But it's all in good humor, and we can make those jokes because we both put in the bid. You feel me? Like there's times where like, hey, I'm gonna be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she's gonna be that. But I think, Louis, it comes down to, I said this I got ate alive for it. Tradition. Like, I think she said something very traditional, and we're not traditional thinkers anymore. Typically, the woman's in the caregiver role. And I don't know if that's all like me. If my wife says stay at home, I'm getting a nanny. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do it. Because I don't think it's fair, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Personally. I had a question that now that before we close out, because I'm gonna keep out all night. Does a man have to be You know what? Let me get to Ian's comment first. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, so Ian said this to earlier. He said, I think that's a tough line to balance as guys because you get satisfaction out of sacrificing and making others happy. So earlier when we were talking about how men think about their family and all that they do, he said it's a tough balance because we get satisfaction for sacrificing. So I guess, fellas, can y'all speak on that or speak to that? Do y'all get satisfaction out of sacrificing? I don't know if I get
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It makes me feel good when my wife says she wants to live in the neighborhood and I make that happen. If she wants that car and I make that happen. My son says he wants those shoes and I make that happen. You know what I mean? Like,
you always sacrifice to get those things though.
I try to.
Man, I don't even think about it as sacrifice. I just think about it as.
I'm just saying to the question. I ain't saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I never realized that I may have been this sounds weird because Asia brought this up, but I didn't realize I may have been sacrificing some of my own happiness for my family. But it's like what my thinking and my thought process is, I'm going to figure out a way to get what I want, but I'm gonna make sure their needs are met first. So I don't know if that's defined as sacrifice, right? Because I'm gonna figure out how to get what I want too, right? But I'm gonna make sure they're taken care of first, and it makes me happy seeing them taken care of. But I don't know if that's sacrificing if I still find a way to get what I need.
Yeah, I don't.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm quiet because like I got a preference like this. The way my thinking is really weird. I just feel like as a dude, bro, like take care of her, make sure she good, and do what you want after that. Like make sure it's within the parameters of y'all marriage or y'all relationship. But like, bro, like I told y'all some weeks ago, if she good, you could do what you want anyway. And that's what I'm experiencing. Not in a bad way. I'm saying in a good way. Like a lot of shit that calls static ain't static for me no more. Cause I'm gonna do those things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say this too, Princess, to your point earlier. Me personally, I can be real with me. I just got to a financial place where she can have whatever she wants. That won't the whole marriage. So a lot of times when you say she deserving, hell, I felt like she was deserving the whole time I was with her. That don't mean that account said that. You know what I'm saying? But now that you know, like, we were
that's
good.
Real.
We weren't, but like
that's real.
No, we were good. But I would tell y'all, I shouldn't say this, but I would tell y'all a super real joint. I've been here 10 years, right? Look, Brittany face always get into the story when I say a story. She knows the crazy stuff I'm about to say. I'm not gonna lie. This was the real moment for me. We were both we're both in education. She's a counselor. I was a teacher. We was working for the same district. You know, we're very private about you know, the access people have to us and things of that nature. So when I would come back home and be like, man, Keenan, you killing it, bro. I see this, that, and the third, da. And then when we get, you know, I don't know if y'all experience this, but on the way back from really good trips, you just be really reflective and be talking a lot with your partner. So we talking and she's just like, no, you are doing your thing, but shit, I still got a list. Like, it ain't like, it's cool. You a good dude. I love you taking care of biz, but don't act like, you know what I'm saying? You
like you have been killing shit.
And I was like, what you mean? Because in my mind, I was taking care of everything because it was being taken care of. But it wasn't at the time. If I wanted those new microphones, or if she wanted something, I'm getting the microphones because I was taking care of everything bill wise. I wasn't thinking about priorities that are not bills, things she needs that are not bills. I wasn't thinking about that. You understand what I'm saying? So when she sat me down, like, yeah, that's not truly what's happening for real. I want X, Y, Z, and I don't get X, Y, Z, but you keep getting. I'm like, damn, but I'm taking care of that, and the third. It's like, damn, I never realized that. And then I had a kid. Then daycare came, and I'm like, oh shit, I really ain't holding it down. Like I still need, like, hey, baby, you know what I'm saying?
Daycare.
And I'm not saying, let me be very clear. I'm not saying I wasn't handling my business, but was I providing my woman with a level of financial security where she didn't have to worry about nothing? Like if an oil change came on a check, you think like, damn, they won't have to wait till another month. And if a tire popped on a check, you like, damn, what are we gonna do? It's not like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I made certain decisions in my life. I had to do certain moves for myself. And now it's, you can get whatever you want. Because I tell her to her face, I was always getting the best version of my wife. I didn't always create the environment to get the best version of her. So she's always giving me everything she needed. But when I wasn't creating, everything I needed or everything she could do wasn't always in the best place. But when I created a space for her best version to keep elevating, I keep winning off of it. So if she tell me, hey, I need this, all right, go get it. So I'm saying that to say we do feel like y'all deserving, Princess, but yo, even to the people on this panel right here, we're probably doing things that the people before us at our age were not doing. So we're probably have access to things that normal 32-year-olds, well, I'm 32, 32-year-olds don't have. So that was the other side of it for me. Like, I've just got to that place where I was like, okay, we could do that. It wasn't always like that for me. I was in grind mode for a long time, especially before I got my master's. Boy. Oh, is that we ended on me? Like that, so that never happened? Cause that's why
niggas was in the trenches, bro. Yeah, we good. Bro.
Yeah, bro. We all started from humble beginnings.
But I think because of where we are now, it is kind of easier for me to talk. If I was still in that place, like, yo, I wasn't doing like. Let me get off this. All right. Anyway, I'm not gonna tell.
Before we get off, because you are in the good financial space that you're in now, which we're very proud of. So when your wife come to you and asks you, so you gonna buy the house for her, what you gonna do?
He gonna get the house.
Yeah.
With what to add to it? Then? What's your expectation?
I don't care. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care about shit like that. So it ain't gonna bother me. As long as it fit what I can pay for, I don't care. You get whatever you want. I don't care.
That's not the house she wants. That's not the house she wants, though.
Oh, if it's more than outside my budget, whatever the difference is, you're gonna have to pay that. But it ain't gonna be as much as I pay.
That's not what she asked you though.
What she asked me?
For the house that she wants, so she can make it a home.
Jay, get off my line, bro. Ain't nobody on what you want, bro. All right, man. Hey, millennials versus the world, man. We out. Like, what?